Well, good evening. So, light has just popped up beautifully. We're just parked up just up the way there. Let me just show you now. It's going to be quite bright as you look. But this is what I was looking for, just some frozen little sort of pools of tidal water. And of course we got really lucky with the weather. Now, I'm again shooting bracketed. Now this is a situation where I would like to use the grad just to kind of save me in post, but my grad seems to be covered in a few little specks of dust, and of course when you're shooting directly into the sun, anything on your filter at all will show up really bad. So I'm doing bracketed exposures. Now I'm not doing the normal 3 bracketed exposures. I'm choosing what to do, sometimes 4, sometimes 5, and then I'm just placing my hand in front of the frame to separate the ones that I want to blend. So what I love is the light is just kind of kissing just some of the little areas of grass, and of course we've got some beautiful light going on here as well. Vertical composition, and really just pointing my lens down just to accentuate those patterns in the ice. What a beautiful evening here on Mull. Absolutely stunning, and we had some really good views of a couple of otters, a mother and a cub, earlier. Right, so this sun looks like it's starting to I have already taken my images, by the way. The sun looks like it's starting to disappear behind a cloud, so what I'm going to do is put you away, go and look to see whether I can find another composition, get that set up, and maybe we'll see you later. Stunning. I love this place. So the real glare of the sun has now disappeared. Brought myself along again to another one of these little frozen inlets. I love how the seaweed has kind of captured, and quite like this. The gap in the ice here is allowing, as you can see, the reflection of that sun just to kind of take on some of that colour. So anywhere where the ice is clear is sort of saturating with some of that late evening sun, which is nice. Still in the vertical composition, as you can see. Still doing bracketed shots. Don't think we're going to get any more real golden light. There's a chance though that the clouds could actually light up a little bit, so we'll wait and see what happens there. Just beautiful. Look at those little... Oh. See, this is what I love about landscape photography, just finding just little, not even secretive, just little personal areas that probably mean nothing to no one, but right at this moment mean everything to me. That sounds like a greeting card of sorts. Anyway, yeah, that light's starting to fade, so the only thing we can now hope for is maybe some of that light on the clouds above. So you might see me later, you might not. Well, good morning. I've actually been out for the last hour or so, well before sunrise. And it may have increased a couple of degrees now, but it's still blooming cold, the wind coming from my back. No sunrise to talk of, tiny little bit of colour in the sky. But very typically Scottish conditions going on. So I've been kind of again focusing on some of these little ice formations, and I've really settled in on this one. Now I've taken another a couple of them. But I love the sort of orange lichen here, and obviously the ice leading through, potentially complementing the same colour palette on the moss and the seaweed. And then of course what really helps is we have a very typically Scottish squall going through, so I'm actually shooting this in a vertical composition, as you can see. But yeah, this is what I would typically class as a very Scottish morning. Thankfully the squall is moving through the glen in front of me. Ben Moore's just tucked up around there somewhere. In fact, you can start your ascent, the most popular ascent of Ben Moore, along here. Certainly in these conditions, not something that we will be attempting, don't you worry about that. Safety first when it comes to the mountains. But just beautiful. A few little flurries of snow falling as well. Yeah, so just focusing here on these little ice patterns and really using those as a bit of sort of course interest, but really just to show the element. I always say that a cinematographer potentially has it easier. Don't shoot me now if that's not true, of course, but no, cinematographers, they have 3D, they have visuals, they have sound to sort of emphasize a place. Us photographers, we have a single 2D image. So it's freezing here. So I kind of wanted to make sure that I was introducing that ice just to show the coldness, the harshness, and of course that squall moving through. Just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Trying to see whether that was an otter out there. Again, we've had some fantastic views of otters. In fact, last night while I was out shooting here, my wife was watching golden eagles. Yeah, golden eagles up here. So, all in all, just beautiful. Lovely. Right. I'm going to see whether I can maybe find one more composition. And then it's coffee time, with the van just parked a couple 100 meters away. Beautiful. So there's a little intersection on Mull that kind of takes you down sort of to your left, my right, down to Fainport, or this road here. Not sure whether our van's in the picture or not. And there's always sort of potential compositions down here. Now the previous, I'll throw up an iPhone picture. Previous couple of days that I was here, really frozen over. You can tell that things are starting to thaw out. There's nothing that's frozen at the moment. Kind of was thinking of looking this way. The sun is just over my shoulder, so anytime it does pop out, we do get the potential of some light. It's a very miserly day. But actually, what I think I'm going to do is head across the road and focus on the mountains that are behind you. I just think there's just not enough going on in the river here, and there's just too much distraction going on. Not least our van, but lots of telegraph poles, and one of the mountains isn't really got a lot of snow on it, so we'll take a wander on up behind you and see what we can see. No, so I'm just not really feeling it here. Oh, let me just bring you down a bit. I mean, it's a lovely spot, don't get me wrong. I think what's really impacting us is there's just more and more clag over the snow-capped mountains, so you're not even getting to see the snow-capped mountains. It's just a complete whiteout. And the real challenge is I've now put the 18-135 on. When the sky's like that, going for potentially more intimate scenes, but access down to the river. I have my waterproof chargers on, but I idiotically left my welly bits in the van. But potentially there might be a few more up the river. Now we will be coming back this way, so I might come back here in the next day or so, especially if the snow remains on the mountains up there. But for now I'm just not feeling it. So back down at the river again, that I was, well, yesterday for me, probably just a few seconds for you. Weather has improved, a bit miserly this morning, but we do have some light coming through and actually illuminating both the trees and also the mountains in the background, which thankfully still do have just a little bit of snow left on them. So I've got the XT1 out on the 10-24mm lens in and around 17mm. I have a 3-stop soft edge grad on and also a 10-stop, obviously just to slow down a bit of that water. And there's 2 different types of images that I can shoot here. Let me just kind of do one of them now actually. So that's firing a shot off now. Right now the foreground is not illuminated by the sun, but the sun is actually on the mountain, so that may actually give me something to work with. Now if we just had a dull foreground here with no water, then I don't think it would work. It might still not work, but I think just with the water in it, the darker foreground, it might actually work, who knows. And then the second type of shot that I'm taking is when the sun actually illuminates here. So let me just take a quick look and see. It's not bad. I'm having to play about a little bit with the composition because there's a sign on my left and there's a bit of sort of, you know, that word cruff that I like to use. There's a little bit of cruff down here, and obviously using the wide angle lens, kind of, it's hard to avoid that, or at the very least it's hard to pick that up sometimes. So you've got to look really intently around the frame. Now, I do see some patches of blue coming along. I don't really want those in my frame, but if we get some patches of blue behind me, which I think we're going to get, it'll actually illuminate the foreground. So I'll go back to fine-tuning this composition and see what I can come up with. Well, I think that's everything from this location, and maybe we'll cut it here in terms of the vlog as well. So conditions over these last couple of days have been challenging, but always useful just to kind of drive around the island and look for potential. I'm hoping to come back here in the autumn for 3 or 4 days as part of a much longer trip through Scotland. I think there may be some potential later in the year. I'm here for another couple of days. There may be another vlog, there may not be. Once we finish on Mull, we're heading back down through the mainland, where I am hoping, weather depending, to record another vlog. As always, I hope you enjoyed this, and perhaps this has been your first experience of the Isle of Mull. I know places like Skye do get, you know, quite a bit of footfall and quite a bit of exposure, but Mull is a beautiful place, not just from the landscapes, but from the wildlife perspective as well. So maybe you'll find yourself on Mull one day as well. For now though, I'm heading back to the van, brew up a coffee, and there might even be some cake. Until next time, from the Isle of Mull, take care, bye bye.